I still remember the morning my doctor sighed and said, "Your blood sugar is climbing again." I nodded, pretending I wasn't shaken, but inside I was terrified. The meter had become my enemy. Each prick of the finger brought numbers I didn't want to see. It wasn't just about the numbers. It was the way my hands trembled, the constant thirst, the nights I couldn't sleep. And worst of all, the thought that I might lose my independence. I tried cutting sweets, I swallowed the pills, I did everything I was told. And yet, my numbers stayed stubbornly high. There were nights I sat at the table with my head in my hands, whispering, "What else can I possibly do?" But life has a strange way of handing you answers when you least expect them. Mine came in the form of a wrinkled, green, ugly-looking vegetable. A neighbor handed it to me with a smile and said, "Try this, bitter melon. It might surprise you." I laughed. Bitter melon? I had avoided bitter foods all my life. But something in me whispered, "What do you have to lose?" The first bite was almost unbearable. Sharp, harsh, bitter to the core. I wanted to spit it out. But I forced myself to finish it, mixed with scrambled eggs just to hide the taste. And that was the beginning of something I never thought possible. Within 2 weeks, my morning readings began to shift. Not perfect, not dramatic, but lower, steadier. For the first time in years, I felt hope. And I realized this bitter food was teaching me more than I ever expected. Here are the 3 lessons I carry with me now. Lesson 1. Don't fear bitter. Our grandparents ate bitter greens often. Foods like chicory, dandelion, and yes, bitter melon. They knew something we've forgotten. Bitterness often signals compounds that can calm blood sugar swings. So I learned to stop running from it. I began slicing bitter melon thin, stir-frying it, even brewing it into coffee. At first, just a few bites. Over time, my taste buds adjusted, and I grew to respect the flavor. Lesson 2. Pair it wisely. I discovered that when I cooked bitter melon with a touch of extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil, not only did it taste better, the after effects on my blood sugar were gentler. Fat slowed things down, helping my body handle food more calmly. So now I never eat it plain. I always give bitterness a partner. Lesson 3. Be patient. This one nearly broke me. After 3 days, I saw no change and almost quit. But healing doesn't happen overnight. By day 14, I noticed a shift. My energy in the mornings was steadier, and my sugar readings weren't spiking so high. It wasn't magic, it was steady progress. And progress is enough. Those 2 weeks taught me that my body wasn't broken. It simply needed the right nudge. Do I still need to be careful? Of course. But now I live with hope. Hope that my choices matter. Hope that my kitchen can hold as much healing as any prescription bottle. If you've been feeling defeated by numbers on a screen, I want you to know this. It's never too late. Your body remembers how to heal. Sometimes it just needs a little reminder. There's a resource I wish I had back then. The 30-day blood sugar solution from HealthRight. It lays out step-by-step routines, meal tips, and natural strategies made especially for seniors like us. You can find the link right below this video. Sometimes the foods we avoid hold the very answers we need. And it makes me wonder what other healthy foods might be quietly pushing our blood sugar in the wrong direction. On your screen right now, you'll see a video about healthy fruits that spike blood sugar in seniors. Click on it, because some of the fruits on that list truly surprised me, especially the ones I thought were safe. But I'll leave you with this thought. If even something as bitter as a melon can bring sweetness back to life, what small change could bring sweetness back to yours?